What are you saying, guys? Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you. This week we have Alex from Crispy Co on the show. Not only is he on the episode, but he is also sponsoring this episode, which we appreciate massively. As you can see on the screen here, we've got one of his hardtail kits for Big Twin. It's got those cast plates, so if you're building a period build right now, this is the one. This is what you're looking for. I mean, amazing. You built in the USA, handmade, no bullshit. This thing fits the fucking frame like it should. It is very cost effective. Not cheap, but extremely cost effective. If you're building that period build and you're stressing out right now because you don't want to get the fucking right hardtail to have that classic look, look no further. Crispy Co, get in. Is that yours or is that a customer's?
So it's mine.
Oh, sick.
I'm a super blessed man. All the bikes that are here are my bikes, dude.
Oh, sick.
So yeah, I stopped doing commission builds like 2.5 years ago.
Cool.
Yeah. So just trying to kind of do it under my own accord, dude. I love customers. I love building bikes for people, but it's hard, dude. Like,
mate, that's the dream. So how do you make money then?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Amazing.
Dude, so it was kind of weird. So like for, the past decade, I've had the shop. It was called Oldie Metalworks in Rancho Cordova, California. Fucking shithole outside of Sacramento. But it was a nice shop. I never wanted to stay there, but I kind of, shops are hard to move. And once I was planted, like, I honestly didn't think I could ever leave that space. And I really honestly wanted to, because I'm originally from Huntington Beach. So, I always wanted to go back and do like a shop in Long Beach or whatever. But I just couldn't shut that shop down. I really didn't want to be in Sacramento anymore. But, and never thought I could leave. But lo and behold, through the that crazy thing that happened, a few years back where the world changed.
Yep.
Dude, I lost all. We're just like going right into the grit.
Yeah, man. Sick. Yeah, just go straight into it. It's good.
Dude, I lost all my work. Dude, I remember everyone's talking, dude, this shit's going down. They're shutting down everything. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And at the time, I had just tried to go legit, dude. Like I had never had payroll or fucking I was just like your regular fucking hot rod chopper shop with like nothing's legit, everybody's under the table, whatever. I just got to a point in my life where I was like, man, I kind of want to be legit. Like I wanted to buy a home and all that stuff. I could never do it when you're like not claiming any of your funds, like you got to do shit to like, and it was time to become an adult. So I was setting it all up and like we're like right about we were to go legit. And then the fucking pandemic hit and I was like, oh, fuck. And I had a lot of really good work at the time. I just brought on a new dude. So I had 2 guys working for me. And I just kind of knew something was off. And I'm like, this could be weird. So I called all of my customers and I was like, hey, I just want to know before I keep moving forward on your projects. Like, I know shit's weird. What do you want to freeze? Do you want to move forward? How do you want to do it? Everybody except for one project said, fucking call it, dude. Like, I don't know what's going on. I want to stop.
Shit.
And I was like, wow, that's crazy. And meanwhile, I'd gotten the opportunity with my fiance. We were flipping a house, dude, like gotten this really cool opportunity to flip a house. And we were in the middle of that. And then I was freaking out on that too. Cause I was like, this is all borrowed money, like to do this deal. And I'm like, now the world's coming to an end. I'm like, I'm going to lose my business. I'm going to owe a massive amount of money. This is insane. And then out of nowhere, a really good friend of mine's a realtor. He's like, dude, don't even freak out. He's like, it's actually super good. Like everybody's fucking clamming up. He's like, dude, he's like, get that thing fucking done. and like, because nobody's selling their houses, so if you get yours up and go, like, you'll do super good. And that's what we did. And when that went down, you know, we did really well. It was an experience. I've never had like any kind of real money in my life. But meanwhile, when I'd lost all that work and we were wrapping up that house, and I got the money, I like didn't want to tell anybody that I'd come back to the shop, you know, because I was like, I'm just going to keep it like I'm shut down. And for the first time, I have like no customers and a little chunk of money. I'm like, I want to build some bikes and just start flipping them. And meanwhile, when I was doing that, I noticed when I was like trying to get all my parts off Chopper Swapper, right? Because like there's going to be no swap meets, like whatever. And I was looking for some parts, fucking everything's sold. Like the second it comes up, I'm like, let me, gone, sold. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? This is crazy. And like I had a decent little hoard of parts, you know, but like I was looking for some specifics. And once I saw that, I was like, oh snap, dude, like this is, if everything's selling this fast, this is crazy. And I think what was happening is everyone's at home. A lot of people are getting unemployment. Like nothing but a little bit extra money and fucking time. So like when I thought everything was going to go to hell in a handbasket, it actually got better. Yeah. Dude, which was crazy. So they, anyways, I just started slanging on fucking Chopper Swapper. And honestly, and like got to get a bike done and some shit. And I noticed, I'm like, dude, I think I'm doing fucking better than when I was like doing commission work, and I'm way happier.
Yeah, man.
You know, I'm not being owned by my customers because everyone's like, "Oh, you're self-employed, dude. Like, how great is that?" I'm like, "Nah, dude. Like,
no, they don't get it.
Bosses right now, on my ass,
totally. Yeah,
trying to get their shit." And so, anyways, I was like, "Fuck it, we're doing super good." I'm like, "I'm gonna shut this fucking shop down that I've been at for 10 years," and I'm like, "Let's go buy some property up in the fucking mountains." And we bought a fucking shithole. It had no running water. It was a pile of shit, but it had like a big space underneath the house. But I'm like, I can build bikes in there and I'll have my machine shop up in the garage. And so yeah, we got this shithole for fucking pennies on the dollar. And because nobody would buy it because it was so bad. It was like super bad. We lived in our shitty ass 1979. No, it was a 73 RV, pre-smog over here, which is really cool.
Holy shit.
We lived in this little RV and like got running water and stuff. And I kind of built up the shop. And on the short end, I don't know how fast I should be running through this fucking story.
That's cool, man. It's cool. It's cool. We got plenty to talk about.
Anyways, we did that. And then that's when Crispy Co. started. So I shut down Oldie Metalworks and I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to rebrand. It's a start over time. Like this is perfect.
So is that where you are now? Is that where your shop is now at that property?
So no, and that's where a lot of people
cool.
What are you doing? You have it made at your house. You're like, you don't got to pay for shit, you know?
Yeah.
But I started doing really good at home, and it was really complicated. Like my machine shop's like up here. My shop is underneath the house, and then I've got like shipping containers like up on the top of the property. Right. And not to be like a little baby, but it was just a bitch to build bikes where like everything's like separated and by like height.
Yeah.
So although I could do bikes, and they were really hard to get under my house, I thought I was gonna be able to put like a little trail in. Yeah. And then like it didn't really work. It was super sketchy trying to get bikes underneath the house. So it just really wasn't working, but I was doing really good and had like an epiphany that I wanted to go even bigger and legit and go back. And by this time, it had already been 2 years since I had moved into that house and done the deal. And I'm a fucking idiot, dude. And like wanted more, you know, I was like, I really want to make a real brand. And I wanted to get an employee again. And the missus was like, not that she wasn't stoked, but it was just kind of weird, like having people come to the house.
Yes. No, totally.
So, yeah, anyways, and then, so like, I live like 30 minutes from here, but we're up in the Sierra Nevadas of California. It's the most amazing, gorgeous fucking place out there, dude. Yeah, it's like such a detailed story why I got this fucking.
Yeah, it's cool.
We also have a lot of fires. You know about fires?
Yeah. Well, you know, you have them fucking outdoor fires. Yeah, we don't have forest fires and shit,
Super gnarly, dude. Like we had 185 houses burned down like 4 miles from where I live.
That's fucking crazy. What do people do when that happens? Because we see it on the news and we're like, oh, that's sad. Anyway, mashed potato. Do you know what I mean? We don't really fucking. What do you do in that fucking case?
So I don't know. So like I still drive past people's properties and they're fucking living in RVs, dude. You know, with tarps and shit. It doesn't look good. I think people that have good insurance, we're fine, but like the insurance, insurance is tough out here, and I don't think we have very good insurance. And like, not to mention, like, and I had built up a huge fleet of motorcycles and parts and all my equipment that I brought with me. And although like every year, you know, Emily would be like, dude, you need to go take videos and log everything you own and like do a fucking sheet. So if a fire comes, we can at least try to get something. Yeah. But like, if you know anything in the chopper game, like a lot of those things aren't in my name.
Yeah. Like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I would never do anything like that.
Oh, never, dude. On the up and up, dude. But so where was I at? Yeah, it felt irresponsible and like super scary. I was like, if a fire hits, like I don't just lose my house, I lose everything I've worked for.
Yeah. Yeah.
In fucking one fell swoop, dude. And it just was stressing me out because like it'd be cool in the winter and the spring and whatever, then summer would hit and then it's like boom, alert on the phone, and you're like, what the fuck am I doing here, man? These fires are getting close and they're gnarly big, and yeah, it was just nuts. So
how do they start? Is it just the sun? Like dry grass and
tweakers,
shit?
Dude.
Really? Okay.
Fuck. Yeah, and I think idiots coming up here to have that like, oh, go camp and have a fucking bonfire, you know? And it's like, dude, don't fucking light a fire out here, you know?
Yeah, it's dry as fuck.
Super dry. We were in like a 20-year drought, which supposedly is gone. And we haven't had any fires this summer.
Right.
So I was kind of like, fuck, I probably could have just stayed at home and didn't need to add a bunch of bills. Yeah, I like the new space. It'll be cool to have you when you come into the States. You're going to have to come up here, dude. And
definitely.
I'll have a bike for you and shit. No rip.
Amazing. Yeah, man. I just need to get this fucking visa sorted.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll get it sorted. We'll do it. Definitely. So you got the new space and you wanted to start the brand.
Yes. Yeah. So which we're fucking deep in it, dude. I'm going another fucking crispy Kobe. You got a couple of those. Thank you, dude. I know I threw dude, we're so light on apparel. It's so hard. I'm supposed to send you a shirt, but learning how to do all that. And that was like the big thing where like when I wanted to do this brand or like, you know, like go for it, I'm like, I want to learn what it's like to do apparel and like work with other artists to do graphics and clearly also the big one is manufacturing. You know what I mean? So like I want to manufacture parts. I've been making one-off parts my entire career. And I've always had like successful people, guys that I build bikes for. They're like, dude, you need to fucking make more of these, dude. Like you're onesie twosie, and like that's not good business. Like you need to reproduce and make production and blah blah blah. And like I always wanted to do, and I talked about it forever, but like I'm in it right now, and it is really, really, it's tough, and it's a cool tough. Like I'm super down for the challenge, and I'm happy that I'm doing it now because I would think I was too young and dumb. Then I'm still fucking dumb, but like I got a little bit more time.
Got a bit more experience. Yeah.
And I've got some cool business owners around me that are, you know, coaching me and helping me to understand what the hell I'm going for, you know?
Yeah, man. I mean, so what, how did all that begin then? How did you take us back to the beginning how did the bike thing start? So, and then we'll go from there and then we'll go into how you started making parts and stuff.
Yeah. Like from the beginning of my motorcycle career.
Yeah.
I was born. No, I'm just kidding. I was born, flew out of her fucking on the back of a chopper, dude. It was fucking sick. I come from a lineage of one man above me, my father, Mr. John English, dude. He, when I was a kid, dude, he was always like building cars and bikes out of the garage and stuff. And then at some point he linked up with some dude that had some money, and my dad had built like a super cool panhead, and you know, he's riding around, and I think that's what caught somebody's attention. The guy's like, dude, let's start a shop. You're a super good mechanic. Clearly you could build really cool bikes. let's start a shop. And I think at that time I was probably like 12 or something, maybe a little bit younger. And this is in Orange County, California. And so he started up that shop, and I would pretty much just go there and like fucking answer phones, because he was like a full real service shop with like a front, like it was legit. It was a cool spot.
Yeah.
And he had a tattoo shop inside the thing. And then
sick.
he also did, which was really rad, is he did like a pickup part in part of the building as well. So you had like a used part zone that people come and go shop for used parts, which was dope for him. Like he said, he's like, dude, I'd get fucking truckloads of shit would come to the front, which I wish today I could have known. Like, only imagine what was showing up, you know?
Yeah.
This is like the late mid 90s, right?
So like panheads for like $3,000.
Oh, I guaranteed. They're like, oh, that old piece of shit. I want a fucking 20, or, I want a big Evo fucking diamond
totally.
In, you know? Fuck these panheads. And so.
Mate, I get that just from 5 years ago. There's deals that I should have jumped on 5 years ago, but I just didn't know as much as I did now. I do now. Do you know what I mean? Oh, man.
Dude, dollar, minute late, dollar short, dude. Always.
Yeah. Horrible. Sorry, carry on.
It'll come back.
Yeah,
but then it won't be cool. So everything's gonna be cheap for a reason. No, I doubt it. I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. I'm like pretty confident in it. And if it does, like everything's fucked. So I'm like, if this doesn't work, there's so many problems. Like we're all gonna be eating each other anyway. So like it's okay. You know what I mean, dude? I'm like, fuck. It's been here this long, and it goes through its cycles, you know?
Yeah, totally.
So anyways, that was Dad's thing. It was funny in the very beginning, like, dude, whenever I got busted, I'd have to go to the shop and fucking answer phones, clean the bathroom. I fucking hated it. I absolutely hated it, man. Like, it was only because I was busted. I had to, go there and do the deal and help out or whatever. And it just felt like an eternity. When you're a little kid, like,
yeah, man,
you gotta go for the whole weekend? You're kidding me, It's like fucking quit throwing fucking water balloons at cars and trying to make fucking explosives, Like one of the homies got a fucking anarchist cookbook, and we fucking, I was fucked after that. We were always in trouble, dude. But so anyways, he had that shop, and then dude, he went through like a lot of change. It's a hard gig, dude. You know what I mean? Like, especially he's kind of like me. He was never a good business person. Yeah. But he the chop, he would get partners and do this and that, which was like, never a good thing, because if you need partners and money, you're probably already in a bad place.
Yeah. And you get the honeymoon period where it's all good, and then no matter how good you get on, when money is involved, it goes sour.
Yeah, it gets real quick.
Yeah. Totally.
So he and then so he went through a couple shops, lost it, ended up with like, we had this like makeshift shop in our, like, we lived in this really weird place in Huntington that was like kind of like unresidential. We had like probably like a half an acre. It was a really, really weird property. So he like built this shop with like fucking tarp. It would look like fucking Tarp City, dude. Like, right. It was weird. And it was, honestly, I look back and it was really, I could only imagine what he was going through. Like, it's pretty fucking sad that he had to resort to that, but we're fighters, so he figured it out, had a homie that had a shop. He got to rent a space out of there, and by then I think I'm like 17 years old, and I had completely stopped going to school. I was just nothing but fucking trouble and running amok. And he got the new shop. He's like, hey dude, like, clearly you're fucking not gonna do school, so like, you got to come to the shop, dude, because like, you got to figure this shit out. You're either going to be flipping burgers or some fucking drug addict. Like, you got to come to the shop, dude, and start working. And I was like, all right, which did not help my drug abuses, but at least I had a job, kind of. He never paid me, so I don't even know if it was a job. I was just like unpaid intern for like ever. But anyway, so we got this new shop. I started working for him there. And at that time was like Orange County Choppers was huge, dude. Right. So so that's that era. And he had gotten a commission bill to build like a, fat tire chopper with crazy paint and 127-inch Evo motor, like crazy fucking baller shit. So we build this bike, but it was the first time like we ordered a chassis from these dudes, and we were in Southern California, so there was a lot happening. There was a lot of resources, and clearly he had been in business long enough. But we got a frame, we got crazy billet wheels, he got that crazy motor and we like built this bike. And he's like no fabricator by any stretch of the imagination, but we like made a fender and like made a gas tank out of like, because everybody had halves at the time. There's all these stamped parts, and you could like get these weird blanks, and we'd like weld some fucking things on there to decorate it when they painted or whatever. And we built that, and I got to like kind of weld with the MIG welder. I'm cutting and grinding, and I was like, and then we like finish this bike, and it's gorgeous. I mean, I wouldn't be caught dead near the thing today, but we finished it, we fired it up, and I was like, holy fuck, that is crazy. We like built this fucking machine. Yeah, man. For nothing. That's sick. Yeah, it was super
it's cool. A funny thing, them bikes, like you said about it comes in cycles, because like it's happened now, hasn't it? Like choppers used to build these like what we all love now, really, and you'd ride the fuck out of them and you'd travel on them and stuff like that. And then that era came along, and they became more like maybe like ornaments. They became more like an investment, like it's just a big fucking, I don't know how to word it. It was more like a showpiece. Even if you didn't show it, it was more like a status thing. Like, look at this fucking massive thing I've got. And now that's died now, isn't it? You see some of them 70 grand bikes for like $5,000 on Facebook.
Oh, dude. Bro, I'll tell you exactly what that bike was. It was for that dude to have it in his fucking garage, to have his other rich buddies come over, fire it up, and be proud to say that he spent 60 grand. I fucking paid 60 G for this thing. Dude, they never rode them, dude, ever.
Yep, totally.
And those bikes were super scary anyways, because they had these huge rear tires, and then you got a little skinny front. And like I one time rode one of those bikes with one of the dudes that bought them that did ride it, and my dad's like, fuck it, take it. Let me take this fucking $60,000 bike. My dad is nuts. I couldn't believe it. I'm like 18 years old, dude. And we went from Huntington to Long Beach, and we're like ripping on the freeway, and this dude's hauling ass, and I'm like trying to keep up with him on this just horribly fucking geometry bike. Bro, you'd hit turns, and the ass end would just walk you over, because like the treads won't line up. And I remember just like getting super close to the car. I'm like, holy fuck, like this is it, dude. I'm fucking done.
Yeah, totally.
Got there, and I was like weird that whole rest of the day, because I was like, I gotta ride this thing home. And this guy like doesn't care how I feel,
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm scared, dude. Is this annoying? This fucking
no, it's cool. Thing? It's totally fine. It's totally fine.
Is
pretty
it
cool,
fine?
Actually. Yeah.
I just see like this weird movement happening.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
We just ate. We just dropped some acid. Super cool. Let's talk about the past, totally man.
Cool. Let's talk about the fucking future. When I've ridden one of those bikes, and the fucking speed wobble that this thing just constantly wanted to do, you had to literally hold it fucking still. It was weird. I didn't at any kind of speed over like 50. It was just this weird wobble, and I think it was because of that little thin kind of. It was weird. Yeah.
And if the rake and trail was off too, like I think we weren't super dialed at the time with rake and trail, so like they could be super heavy on the front end, and like they don't want to pick back up because it's like the frame falls down on itself, or they don't want to make turns. They just want to go straight, which really the big tire bikes really just want to go straight. They're not for turning. But that was another thing with those. It got to a point where like it being functional, that didn't even matter. It was just how they looked. As long as it had a big fat end, as long as the front was crazy, like the geometry and stuff, it got to a point, I think, where it didn't even seem to matter. As long as it looked crazy, that was it. Yeah, they weren't going to ride them anyways, dude. Yeah, totally. Yeah. We had a guy leave out of the parking lot and couldn't turn. And I mean, dude, these motors are massive too, dude. Yeah. Like fucking massive. And this guy's trying to turn and just fucking like surfs the fucking curb on the side of the street. Like the first ride, I'm like, it's done. The bike's fucking done.
Shit. Yeah.
I don't think the guy ever rode it again. Like, dude, he was
man.
like, can we trailer it to the house? And we're like, yeah, you know?
Those
Not
bikes are
mention
like the tribal of tattooing.
Literally. And we had tribal on that bike, had tribal.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Big job, dude.
Yes.
That was like fucking $5,000, by the way, too.
Crazy.
You know, the paint was so expensive. Like,
yeah, man.
I mean, paint's tough today, and I get it. But I mean, like, you look at some of the painters today, like Nathaniel, all those guys, like, you get a set of tins that are super dope like that for, you know, $1,800. Like, that's really from my past, that's like actually pretty deep prices, you know?
Yeah.
Especially with, you know, the price, like just paint itself. And I know what painters have to go through is super horrible with all the EPA shit and everything's super expensive. And it's not like the paint that they liked using back in the day and whatever. I don't paint them, dude. As you can see, there it is. See, I just buy shit already fucking crusty and done.
You need to move that way so the camera follows you. Other way. That way. There we go. Look at that.
Is it there?
No.
Dude, I don't know. Should I figure out how to turn this?
No, it's cool.
Off,
the paint looks cool.
Sure, it does.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna get seasick watching this.
Yeah.
So like that guy makes me nauseous.
Nah, you good.
Anyways, that's so weird. Share content. I'm like curious why it's doing that. Anyways,
that's the type of paint that I love though. I can't say who, but I've just had some like amazing like how-to shit, like fucking Mr. Miyagi shit on how to paint off. Oh yeah, I can't say who it is, but top tier. And he's just shared all this knowledge with me, so that's what I'm going to start doing, man. I'm going to start painting.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, man.
That's sick.
I'm super excited. Like, I'm super. He'll most likely be listening or watching this, and I appreciate you.
Thank you. And hey, he didn't tell me. It's real.
Yeah.
That's like the shit people don't want to share. You know, I get it.
Totally.
I've tried to call people to figure out how to do that fucking crackle. I'm like, because I like
that's what he told me.
Fucked up paint, and they're like, they won't share it, dude.
That's what. That's the shit I've learned.
Yeah, I'll share my craft because I know it's tough. Like my craft's hard. Like you got to go buy welders and fucking mills and lathes and like fucking. If you're down to go make the investment on all that equipment, I'll fucking tell you anything. Yeah, and I've gotten lucky to like go. You know, I took Sosa Metalworks' fucking
that's what I was going to ask. Yeah, I was going to say like how did you learn to actually because you were saying your dad wasn't a fabricator, but
so we built a bike for these dudes from Australia. It was really cool. My dad met him at a swap meet and they were like, hey, we had showed him some of the pictures of the bikes, whatever. So they have us build him this bike, which was a wild story because the way that they wanted us to do is they want us to build the entire bike, make sure it's running. So when they show up to the States, they're going to get a bunch of shipping containers. And at the time they'd run around and buy a bunch of rattled cars and bikes and whatever. And they throw them in these shipping containers, ship them back. Right. But this bike in particular, they wanted us the second that he rode it, they were going to be there for a minute. So they saw us first. He rode the bike around the block and then was like completely strip it, take it all the way down, bag it, tag it. And they would ship it over as parts.
Shit.
So that
I
don't know if I should say that. Is that legal? No, I don't know.
Anyway, I mean, that's what everyone does, though, isn't it? Yeah, that's what everyone does.
But
it's easier on the tax and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, because I suppose 100% tax or some shit.
Yeah,
you know. And at the time, I think that bike was like $25,000 that we had done.
Yep.
So, we did that. But meanwhile, we were building this really crazy bike. Where this guy wanted his entire frame fully molded with metal. He was originally gonna go black, and then he was like, I want it chrome. So like the metal had to be super good. And we're in there fucking MIG welding, and dude, like that is not the type of welding to do when you're trying to make something that's gonna end up being chromed, right? Like
okay.
We bought a TIG welder, and what was really cool is when those guys had come, the dude was like a crazy good fabricator. And he hung out with me and like showed me kind of how to use the TIG welder and to understand like porosities and pits and like kind of showed me how to weld like a little bit. And we did get through that bike, even though like I couldn't finish it well enough. We had to send it to another fabricator to make it better, but I was able to weld all the pieces and fill all the shit. and shape and sandwich, you know, which is good when you're a shitty welder, is you become like a really good grinder.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You know, so dude, this is so weird, this camera thing.
Don't worry about it. Just ignore it.
Dude, it's tripping me out. Sorry, guys, if that fucking sucks.
That's all good.
Dude,
it's character.
it does. That's how I do shit, man. Fucking nothing but character. So, anyways, he taught me all that shit, and I just loved it, dude. I love the way fucking metal blues and turns like crazy colors, and the fact that I could just like take all this raw material and like stick it together how I want it. And to be honest, that's kind of how my building was for a long time. Like I wasn't like a period. Well, clearly I was building like yuppie ass choppers. But, and I'll kind of just hint on this. So like there was this one guy that would come to the shop and he had, I don't even remember what bike it was. It was either a panhead or a shovel head, whatever, but it was fucking like bobber chopper. It was super cool. He was younger, cooler. Cause at that time I was pretty much surrounded by like just kind of yuppie, whatever that wasn't like rad chopper shit going on. Right.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah. So, he showed up, dude, and he had this crazy thing, which like, I almost want to say, because I really want to try this on a bike. So he had floorboards on it, and the right floorboard was his brake. So you ride it, and it would pivot and hit his brake, and then the other one was a foot clutch, and he had a fucking knife, or no, actually it was a gun. It was like a gun fucking shifter, and he was like, bro, I put a sock on it, like when I'm riding, because I don't want to get fucked with. And I was like, dude, that's fucking cool. Because all I had was like OCC bike stuff, you know? To like gauge off of.
Oh, so that looks so clean. Like it looks so clean with the boards. Like,
yeah, I'm gonna do it. One day.
Yeah, and it's the equivalent of having no like controls on your bars.
100%, none, dude. Yeah. And that's the bike was super clean. I wish I could see that thing or had taken pictures, man, because that'd be cool to look back on as something that like kind of shifted my perspective on bikes, you know?
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, dude, like we did that shop, and then we lost that shop, and then went and worked for this company called American Suspension, and he built crazy, gnarly, yuppie. $3,000 crazy inverted forks, and he wanted crazy gnarly. You know, we built a bike for like a watch company that was in Vegas, and like this thing was so gaudy, crazy. So I just was around these like really gaudy, crazy bikes, but I got to like make really wild shit for them, crazy exhaust, and
which I bet is like an amazing foundation. You know what I mean? Like learning how to do all that shit, definitely.
And I haven't talked about any of this in a super long time. So it's interesting as I'm like saying it, I'm like, oh, like this is where some of this shit came from. Even though like even then I was super embarrassed. I remember we showed the bike in Vegas, and they paid for the whole thing. And like, we like rolled this thing out on a red carpet, and everyone's looking and and I remember doing it, but like I hated the bike. So I was super embarrassed because I'm like, dude, this isn't even cool. You know, and I didn't even have a bike at the time. You know, so you know, the cobbler's kid has no shoes. It took me a long time to like actually get a motorcycle, even though I was building them because we were always we just weren't good with money. So like I'd pile up some stuff for a shovel head, and then my dad'd be like, fucking, you know, needs a couple bucks, dude. I'm going to sell that shit. I'll get you another one, you know? And I'm like, all right, whatever, dude. Like I get it. We got to pay the rent, you know?
Yeah.
Horrible business people, to say the least.
Mate, I'm the same. I'm fucking terrible. Like people are like, oh my God, you're so successful. You're so, you know, you must be loaded. I'm like, nah, I'm just irresponsible, mate. Like,
dude, I totally know.
Yeah.
It's super bad. And people get me pegged because if on Instagram, they see certain things that I do and I run these things, and trust me, man, that shit don't stick to the bone. That fucking, I spend it as fast as it comes in. And it's funny, even this morning, we actually had a bookkeeper come in for the first time. So to like kind of line it out like this, you got to learn how to budget, dude, because the winter is upon us too, you know? So I kind of got to start being careful.
So you're in Vegas showing this bike?
Yeah. So we showed the bike. It was super crazy, super embarrassing, but like cool at the same time. Let me say hi to these guys. What's up, man? This is Sam, my fucking right-hand dude.
How you doing? You good?
Dude, nice hat.
I'm rocking
Yeah,
this
man.
too.
Thank
We're
you
all
so
hella
much.
crispied out. So good. What's up, brother? I didn't even get to say, like, I wanted to start out with like accolades just for you. Like how,
Oh man,
dude, I'm so honored, by the way, that you asked me to do this.
I appreciate it. Man.
Dude, and we've gotten to talk a few times, get to know each other, and we've got some business endeavors, which is super cool.
Man. Yeah, definitely. We'll get to that.
But yeah, when I first I heard about Chopper podcast, and I was like, I don't know, dude. Like, this is weird. And like, I personally was like, oh, it's gonna be so cringy to watch a Chopper podcast. And you were absolutely the person that I was seeing, and not that I was thinking it was cringy for you, but like I saw
cool.
your stuff, and my friends were telling me. Let me rephrase that. My buddy was telling me, he's like, yeah, I've been listening to Chopper podcast, and I'm like, geez, dude, you're fucking bored, like. Why would you do that? Hence, I watch nothing but fucking podcasts, but like just in the comedic realm. Like I love comedy and all that shit. So I watch all those guys, which is like, and I hang out with them like they're my fucking friends, I'm like, yeah, dude, it's hilarious. But so I love podcasts. I love hanging out and just hearing people talk and all that shit. It's the fucking coolest.
That's what I get a lot when people come see me in a show and that. They're like, oh, you're the podcast guy. And then, and then they're like, oh, I feel like we're friends, like, you say what's in my head, and I'm like, cool.
I am in your head. Yeah,
totally.
And then I think you had reached out to me for something, and we were talking, and then I was like, oh shit. And I kind of had a feeling, I'm like, with where I'm trying to go with the business and all that stuff, that if this Chopper podcasting thing is going to be a thing, which I started to kind of shift my perspective, and I was like, this could be pretty fucking cool and like clearly good for me. It's good for business, right? Like more that is happening, the better, dude. So, you and I had spoke, and you had mentioned like, dude, I'll fucking have you on. And I was like, oh my God, like, dude, my heart, I got so scared. I was like, oh my God, this, like, I thought maybe like in a couple years, like you'd like seen, hey dude, I've seen you around. Why don't you come on the podcast? But it happened so quickly. Yeah, it was like super crazy. But meanwhile, I was like, well, I better fucking start watching some of this shit. And I watched a bunch of your podcasts and fucking super lost in conversation, dude, because I do a lot of driving. So just watch them and just like, this is fucking rad. I'm like, duh, they're talking shop. Like, why would you not want to hear that? Like, I appreciate it. I just thought I'd be like, oh, I live it. I don't need to fucking listen to that shit. I'm doing it all day. Like I need to check out. But it is cool to see. And like for you present, like getting this, a lot of people see us on Instagram and all that stuff or whatever. So it's cool that you're building a platform to where you get the inside, see what people's lives are about, what they're doing, how they got
that's
there.
it. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to like give people like an insight into them conversations that people would love to fucking like sit and listen to what Max Schaff's got to say. You know what I mean? But that you don't know him, so you can't do it. But so that's the type of. That's what I want to give people, and I want to keep it as real as possible. You never want it to be like, "Hey guys, this week on Chopper Show." Like I don't want, fuck all that shit. Like I just want it to just be like you and me. Like we've spoke already 2 or 3 times for an hour each time.
Yeah,
it's just friends talking shop, talking shit, and that's what I think. That's what people need right now. That's what they want, because there's so much. Everything's fake now. Everything's fucking weird and.
Oh, dude, I did TV, bro. I fucking know. Yeah, I got to do a reality TV show.
Oh shit!
It was a season.
Cool.
And that's a whole gnarly story in itself. But like,
let's go into that.
Yeah, fuck it, dude. So this lady in Sacramento got recognized for interior design, and I kind of knew her through motorcycles. She did a lot of bike stuff, and she had reached out to me and a couple other local people, an artist, and some other cats that all rode motorcycles. She's like, I'm putting together this TV show. Would you guys be interested? And they wanted to use my shop in the beginning because they didn't have a shop to do it in.
Yeah.
So they did like the scissor reel at my shop, and we did all this stuff, which was super gnarly. I was super freaked out with that too. I had to do that. That's the only other like Zoom shit I've done is I had to like meet the producers for Zoom, and the producers did American Pickers.
Oh shit, that's cool.
So it was like a big. I was like, holy fuck, this is real. Like I watched the hell out of that show, and now I'm like talking to a producer from that, and I'm a fucking shithead. This is crazy. So they do that. They do the sizzle reel, and like we don't know if it's going to get picked up or whatever. And I was super gnarly at the time. Like this is kind of
Sorry,
more
mate.
personal.
Sorry. They do the what reel?
Oh, they call it a sizzle reel. Scissor reel.
Like scissor?
Yeah, we all just
sizzle?
like fucking get weird. And
oh, right. Yeah. Just
yeah, it's super fun.
just tripping the fuck out of each other.
Yeah. You can go to my OnlyFans. I've got it on there.
Yeah.
So.
I thought you were saying sizzle.
I think it's sizzle or scissor, which is like a 7-minute cut that they do of the show, and then they try to sell it.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Cool. So it's I guess I could even be totally wrong. So
yeah, cool.
But fucking they came and did it, and they sold it. So they sold the show to this fucking channel, FYI for your information. It's like going to be the new Discovery or whatever, dude. Yeah. So they pick it up, and we did like the pilot, dude. And I'm a wreck at the time. So like I'll be straight up, like I don't party no more. I straightened my act up fucking years ago. And part of the TV show was what actually helped me get my life together, because I was a wreck, dude. I, fucking drinking sugar boogers. Like I was a biker. I'm a biker, dude. Fucking, had to fucking keep the fucking persona. I had fun. Don't get me wrong. It was fun. But they used to do this fucking thing, and they're like, we're gonna.
I'm so sorry to go on to I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but that is something that I really fucking struggle with, because I'm like trying my best to get sober, but like it's the I feel like I'm letting the side down. Do you know what I mean? We'll get into that later. We'll get into that later. But yeah,
we talked about it though. Remember?
Yeah.
Fucking El Capitans, they don't party, dude.
Yeah, man, totally.
Their business.
Yeah.
I mean, Tony Montana was different. He would get down, but like
that didn't work out very well for him though.
I don't think The Godfather was like partying with the people.
Yeah, totally.
You know, not that we're anything like that, but so
carry on. We'll get to that after.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah. So we do the fucking we do the pilot, dude, and like I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to keep my shit together, because like I can't stay straight for like any amount of time. So like I'm either on something all day and then I'm raging all night. So like I fucking kind of kept it together for the pilot. I did slip up, but I met this super rad dude. I can't say his name, because of the thing, but he was fucking the coolest, dude. He was in like full punk rock regalia. He was like the DP of photography. And I'm like, you're like a big deal, but he's like this fucking punk rock dude. And like on set, they buy us all this fucking Red Bull and food, but we're like smashing Red Bulls, like literally smashing him on his head. He's like, fuck yeah. And I'm like, I can't wait to fucking rage with this dude,
Yeah.
And we go out to the bars, and I'm like, I've got fucking the stuff, and I'll fucking buy drinks. And he was like, nah, dude, like, I haven't fucking raged in like 8 years. And I'm like, what? You're fucking cool, dude. What do you mean you don't get down? And he's like, no, dude, like, I fucking stick my tongue in light sockets, dude. Like, I almost want to die when I do that stuff. I'm not the guy, but it stuck with me. And then like there was this like little period of time before the TV show gets picked up, and we're going to do, I think, 6 or 7 episodes, and it's going to be like a 2-month thing. And right as we were coming up to it, I fucking remembered what dude said, because I was like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to stay straight for 2 months. Like, I'm gonna make a total ass of myself. I'm like, I'm not gonna show up. And if I do, I'm like, I haven't slept. I'm super fucked up. There's a huge opportunity. And I freaked out. I was like, man, there's no way I'm gonna be able to fucking pull it off. So long story short, I called him, and he told me how to get right. And I went and got right, and basically been right ever since,
Sick.
And that TV show did not get picked up. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. Like, he even said it. He's like, bro, you're freshly sober. Like, dude, your fucking eyes are going to bleed. We're going to run you guys fucking hella hard. And they did. It was so difficult. But why we started this conversation was because how fake it was, dude. Like, we made everything we made like pretty much off camera. And we'd only do like little bits of it for the camera. And like, they always wanted fucking sparks or like welding and, and they would, and everything we made also was piles of shit. Like, it was horrible. And we would like redid people's places, and it was garbage. Like, we literally.
So what what was it then? It was like an interior.
An interior design show.
Okay.
So where this woman had her ruffian misfit biker workers.
Oh,
You know, so we like
yeah,
we played that we were her employees. We're like, I already had my
Yeah.
own business. The other artist dude
Yeah.
had his own business. One of my employees worked on the show with us. And then the one dude's brother owned like a Mack truck. Like we all were like pretty much self-employed, but we played like we were her employees on the show. And it was a cool experience. I got to see how TV was made. But like we'd do interviews like months after we were done filming, and they're like, don't cut your beard, like keep all the same clothes, or like keep your beard, you know, like weird shit because we got to redo stuff in the future, which was like funny when we did that. They like rewrote a script for me, and I cannot do scripts, like period. I fucking can't. And they put all this like Star Wars like verbiage, like I forget what it was, but I was like, I don't fucking say those things. Like, why are your writers doing that? And I argued with them, like, I don't want to say this isn't how I talk. Like, I've been me the whole time on the show. But yeah, that was weird. And it was cool. And if the show would have gone, I'd probably done pretty good because I was like the Chum Lee. I don't know if you know like Pawn Stars. Remember that?
Yeah.
So like it was cool because I was down to do anything. I'm like, I'll fucking get naked, I can jump in a thing. Like I'll fucking put on a monkey suit, which I did. I put on a monkey suit. I'm like, I'll do all this weird stuff. They'd have me we did a yoga studio, so they like had me do yoga like as an idiot. I rode my chopper, did the yoga thing, and I like bought all this white clothes because I didn't know that like what people wore to yoga. I looked like a monk, you know.
That's hilarious. Holy shit!
It was cool because they kept pulling me away. They're like, "Hey, we got this funny thing for you to do," and I'm like, "Fuck yeah, let's go!" You know. So
man,
it was super cool in that regard, you know. But it didn't get picked up. I'm not a TV star.
So walk us through like a day on set. What was that like? What?
Okay, so first off, the day before you would have worked until minimum 2 a.m. Minimum, dude. If you even got to go to sleep. It was so gnarly because when they're filming, they're always telling you to be quiet. Like, hey, we're doing interviews. They just interview all fucking day. Keep pulling people away. And we're trying to make shit. And then they're like, hey, now we want to film you make stuff, but you can't make the real thing. Whatever. So anyways, like you'd start at 7. They would, we would they'd kind of like line you up. We would always be lined up too, like in the thing, like all talking, and they would kind of coach us to a degree, like what to say or what they wanted to talk about. And we'd be talking about multiple projects. So we'd have like a couple like episodes going at once. It was really trippy. And there'd be like 10 people in front of you staring at you while you're like doing it. And then, it was really funny too. If something funny would happen when they weren't around, I'd be like, oh, you guys should have filmed this. The whole thing fell over. We fucked it all up. And they're like, cool, redo it.
Oh, shit.
And I'm like, oh, I don't know, dude. Like, so we tried to redo it, and it was so lame when we'd redo stuff. I'm like, we'd be like acting now, extra.
Yeah.
It's horrible. One of these days when you come, I'll put a video and it's fucking hilarious.
Oh, I can't wait to see this.
Red Hot Design was the show.
Red Hot Design.
It was cool. I was super grateful I got to do it. Like,
what a cool experience.
It fucking got me sober, dude, because like I was so freaked out that I was such a piece of shit. Like I'm gonna ruin a really good opportunity. So, but
did you get paid for that? Or would you have got paid?
Dude.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, fucking $1 million, dude. They paid me.
What? No, you didn't.
No, I'm just kidding.
I fucking believed you. You had the straightest face ever. Holy shit.
So I'll tell you, they paid us $1,200 an episode.
Well, okay, cool. That's
which
good.
is, it's not even bad. But the problem is I had a shop, and so we would do an episode a week, and it didn't cover my bills.
Okay, yeah, of course, yeah.
Which sucked because I think I was like, it probably had like a $6,000 a month nut, which isn't bad compared to what I'm dealing with today. But at the time, that was $1 million fucking dollars to come up with every month. And I think what the show was giving me fucking $4,400 a month, So I was like, this doesn't cover it.
And would an episode take a week?
It would, yeah.
Yeah, okay, get you.
We would. There was some pre-prepping done, and there was a 2-week interval in the middle where they like prepped a bunch of the projects, and we would really get like a bunch of shit kind of done. And there was a dude on there, this guy Thomas, who was a fucking G, man, because he planned them all out. He was so amazing, super talented guy. I couldn't even imagine managing that today, like on my own. Like, that was pretty crazy. And especially with the production's expectations, and that we like,
man.
You're like, we start the project on Monday or whatever, and like you're installing on Sunday. and you have to install in 1 day.
That's fucking mental. That's crazy.
It was crazy. And that homeboy said your eyes will bleed. And I'm like freshly sober. So I'm crazy as fuck, dude. Like just emotional, like people that got it, they know what's up. Like it's a weird thing. Like I don't go home at night or like after or just like drink some beers or pop some pills or something or even smoke some weed to like calm down. Like I'm just like all nerve, you know. But we did good. And you're not getting any sleep on top of it. But I was 20. I was in my 20s still, so I could handle, you know.
But still, that's long days. What was that? 7 in the morning till 2 in the morning?
They would film for 12 hours.
Wow. Fuck.
And then expect us after that to finish all the shit that we had to finish for the shit in the next morning.
Shit. That's crazy.
So, yeah, we'd sleep for like an hour maybe in like my buddy's van. But like when I talk about it, I'm like, dude, that's so cool. Like what a cool experience.
Yeah, totally.
But in it, you're like, this sucks.
Yeah.
You know?
Fuck. The deadlines thing for TV and stuff, that's crazy. Like when I was talking to Josh Allison and that, and he was saying like, you know, full bikes in like 2-4 weeks. Like just fucking crazy.
Yeah. We did have a couple of hidden people doing stuff too.
Yeah.
So they ended up, because we were bitching, dude. And like I kind of was one of the biggest bitchers on there, but I also had run a business to a slight degree. So I was like, dude, like you guys are not providing us with enough tools. So I bitched hard about getting us all like our own set of tools for like install days. And they did it. There was 2 weeks that we didn't work that they weren't going to pay us. And I bitched super hard. So that's fucked up because you're having us come in to do it. And they fucking gave us that too. And hey, that squeaky wheel, like all the squeaky wheels at my shop, they always get their bikes done before the fucking nice guy gets their shit done. Like that shit works, you know?
Yeah,
like,
man.
If you have your bike at someone's shop, fucking bitch and moan. I swear they'll do it quicker. Just not at my shop. I won't do it. It's actually funny because I was trying to do my own YouTube channel, dude. So and like how-tos and like really fucking like I wanted to do the whole builds, you know, and do tutorials and how-tos as I do certain stuff. And we're gonna get there. But
what's that called so people can find it?
It's KRISPY Co.
Perfect.
With a K. So the same thing. It might, it's just KRISPY Co. on YouTube.
Yep. Awesome.
We've done some videos and stuff, and but dude, it's I do bless your soul, brother. Like
it's hard,
doing
man.
editing, doing the life, and for me, it was taking the bikes. Like I really needed to get bikes done because we got the billing. It's a huge, expensive endeavor I took myself on. And I was like, it was stressing me out too much because I was like, I need bikes done as fast as possible because that's my bread and butter. And flipping and hustling and selling used parts and trying to make, you know, the whole thing. And then you're like trying to edit videos. And when we film, every little thing took something that should have taken me an hour, just took like 3, dude. And I'm like, I can't afford this right now, but we'll get there. Yeah.
I'm like hypercritical.
Yeah,
of everything I do. Like, and I think, I mean, the learning, like every episode gets a little bit better and stuff. I mean, like even at the beginning, I had a really bad habit. You probably noticed, and if you didn't notice, you will notice now if you ever listen to them. I had a really bad habit of going, yeah. Oh my fucking God! So that's why, you know, sometimes I'll be talking, I'll just be. And I'm like holding them in, you know. Yeah.
So
it's hard, man.
Yeah, when we were filming, I had a dude here doing it for me, and it kind of didn't really work out. But he was like here pretty much full time trying to like capture the whole thing. We're gonna have our own live TV show type thing on Instagram of everything kind of happening. And then those videos are there, and you can see one of them. We had a horrible time with color just because of like downloading from the phone to a fucking PC, like the shit got all fucked and we couldn't get it straight. It's one of my hardtail videos that I'm going to get rid of once I get a new hardtail install video going. But that one, it drove me nuts. I'm like, you know, you're like, this shit's going to be out there forever. Like I'm doing this thing, but it's kind of cool. For a minute, you're like, fuck it. Like just throw it out there. We'll do more. Like people are going to forget about it. It's going to get buried over time. But you also like, for me doing like kind of how-to content, it's a little stressful because it's like I don't want to send people on the wrong path or do something dangerous on their bike, you know.
I don't even trust my skills on my own bike, let alone,
Yeah.
fucking trying to help anyone else. Fuck me.
I think you'll be okay. I've bought a lot of bikes from people over the years, and it makes me feel really good about the work that I do.
Yeah.
When I'm taking those, I'm like, damn, I
Yeah.
bought this piece of shit. And I'm like, this is going to go to somebody that didn't know that thing was going to end up in a shop, fucking
Yeah.
$5,000 more work needed done. But when you kind of get to see like the scope of like the average garage built bike and like
Yeah.
all two of those people, I'm fucking stoked that they're going for it.
Yeah.
But like on like one note with that whole thing, like the industry changed a bunch where like I went from a place where like I grew up with my dad building fucking $60,000 bikes, still couldn't really make any money because the motor's fucking $9,000 and
Right. Okay.
jobs this. So like it gets gobbled up and it's hard to get your time out of them to like what we have today, which like I used to have some pretty decent commission builds. I'd get 20, 30,000 a build or whatever. But like,
Wow.
dude, that ship has fucking sailed, dude. Like it's pretty hard to get commission builds. I also now steer away from them, but like everybody started building their own shit at home. And it's really crazy to have seen how like the progression of like what people can do. Like I'll tell you right now, like, man, I've been, doing this for 20 plus years, and some of the shit that people can fabricate in the garage and the bikes they build are fucking phenomenal. It makes me, dude, like
with a fucking grinder.
Fire into my ass. I'm like,
yeah,
get your shit together. These dudes are slaying, but we do, on the other hand, we've got a lot of dudes putting out bikes and then they're selling them for like parts, right? Because they don't care about their time. They're like, I just got to build this thing. And it did fuck up the market for builders that are doing it for a living, because now a bike where they should get 20 for it, like you're lucky if you can get 10, because they're like, well, I'll just go buy this one for 10. I'm like, dude, go for it, dude. You're going to put fucking 5 into 10. It like immediately. And you're going to have a fucking headache. You're going to hate the fucking thing. The whole joy of owning that chopper is going to be completely washed away. Because you're going to be left on the road a bunch of time. Like, there's really something to be said about buying a bike from a builder, a professional builder, shop owner, whatever, not to say that they're all perfect, but, people that charge for it tend to try to do a better job. You'd hope.
No, you're right.
Not to say that I didn't put out crap here and there, like, but
no, but when you go cheap, it's legit. It is just like anything. Like when you go cheap, like people are like, oh, I found this panhead for $7.5 grand or something. And it's like, yeah, that's cool, but you're gonna definitely put $7.5 grand into it. You're gonna end up spending 14. It's not, and if you don't have the scale, or if you don't have that extra money, you're best just saving and just getting that bike from a reputable builder. And that's not just trying to, that's, I think that's legit. I think that's good advice. I think that's good advice. Like, really. And that's coming from someone who's done it. I wanted a Harley. I wouldn't just save up that little bit more. I ended up buying a fucking $3.5 grand Harley that was fucking shit and gave me nothing but problems until the day I fucking sold it. It was just, you're best just saving and getting a good bike.
Yeah.
Unless you love wrenching. If you're into that, then cool.
I do think it's really good. People are going to get it. Like, you get a piece of shit iron head, because that's going to cut your teeth. Like, you're going to know so much about Harleys from that bike.
Yeah.
Like, I guarantee, had you not gotten that fucking turd, like, you wouldn't be around today. And because you got to cut your teeth so hard on it, you get like a new respect. So the cats that want that journey, I'm like, fucking get it.
Yes.
Dude, go get your ass kicked. And fucking get AAA, which we have AAA here to pick you up off the side of the road. So go get your fucking AAA in line. But sometimes I could be a little hater. People are like, oh, you just get to go buy a fucking sick panhead right off the bat. Like, fucking good for you, dude. But I'm also one that wants to sell somebody that super sick panhead.
Yeah, so, totally. Yeah.
Fuck yeah, come get a super sick panhead.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm saying. If you just want a nice bike to ride and put on Instagram and fucking shit, then you need to spend the money. Unless but if you want to wrench on it, man, go and get the deals.
Yeah, there's two camps there, dude, and
totally.
They're both rad. I think it's it's everybody's journey, because some people have fucking super good jobs, and they're like, why would I make life hard for me? I want a fucking turnkey bad motherfucker. I just do my deal. you know, where the other one, us broke fucks are just like, God damn, why do I still do this? You know, good Lord, dude.
Let's talk about the getting sober thing. I know we just touched on it then with the TV show, but I mean, I like talking about it because I'm going through it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it is something that I do really find it difficult because I got lots of temptations in my life, you know, and fucking fighting them things, man. It's fucking hard. It's
like the actual like stuff, the substance.
Yeah, like you know, I still have friends that like to party. You know, I have a lot of friends that like to party, and it's not even. I haven't got a single friend that would ever like peer pressure me or whatever. It's myself. You know, it's still like I fell off the wagon when I went to Spain because I hate flying. So I was like, right, fuck it, I'm gonna have to have a drink. You know, and I told myself like I'll be able to do it. It's just for the flight, so I'll just have this drink for the flight. It'd be fine. 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm climbing over a wall into some fucking play. I don't even know what it was. It's some compound in Spain. I'm fucking falling over this like 8-foot fence. I'm laying on my back, and it was not just one drink. You know what I mean? I don't have that off switch. So yeah, how did it go for you,
dude? And that right there is how you classify yourself. You know, you know the word. We don't need to say the word, but
yeah. I mean,
you know, and only you can brand you. Is also the thing. You know, like no one else can do it for you. You got to make the call. I am
totally
fucking
addict.
fill in the blank, dude.
Yeah,
you know. So
it's funny because the culture is so different here. The culture is different from the UK to the States. Like so, here an addict is that guy with like brown fingers and he drinks every single day and he's at the bus stop asking you for change and he's kind of beige. That's an addict. But in actual fact, we're addicts, you know, even though we weren't like on it every single day, just the fact that you don't have an off switch. Yeah. That you're an addict, right?
Dude, so there's some funny thought behind this, and me and my lady talked about it, where it's like being like the variety drunk that we were was like a luxury. You know, like I have this like luxury, like fucking like I didn't, and some people like, oh, you're a high bottom drunk, and I like really wasn't. I lived in my shop. I might as well have been homeless. Like my fucking rent wasn't paid. Like I was getting by the skin of my teeth. It was not fucking pretty. But like if you came to the shop, you'd be like, oh, this fucking dude's got it going on. Like that's if the door was open, right? Like you could see in. But yeah, like, and I'll say this like straight up, like my life. So I've been clean for like, I'll have 7 years in December, and December 13th too, man. I remember when I was getting sober, I was like, I want to pick a rad date, which is like super scary. Like, don't pick a date. Just like, stop fucking music. But I was like, the 13th is tomorrow. Yeah. Tomorrow I'm going to stop. And a lot of people say tomorrow and they don't, dude. So like, and through my sobriety too, man, I've watched a lot of people die from this shit, dude. It's fucking heartbreaking, man. But you know, like I do things and I work in recovery and all that stuff for myself because you come to learn that it's not really the substance, dude. Like I suffer from an ailment, you know, like one, you might say I have an allergy. Like I start drinking, I can't stop drinking. And that is fucking true, dude. Like I don't know how many times I was like, I'm not doing coke tonight. I'm not drink, you know. Boom, here's the sun coming up. I'm all alone, fucking playing Tiptoe Commando. Like nobody's around, and I'm fucking listening through fucking doors, and not to mention, like for me, like looking back now, I mean, I clearly was a heavy user for like well over a decade, but you know, there was a moment in time where I look back now and I'm like, damn, dude, like I could have been so much further in my career. I would have had so many more bikes under my belt, like all this stuff. And I know we can't do the what ifs. Like I don't regret any of my past. I think it gives me a lot of drive today, but to look back and like watching Born Free blow up and like never, like I had a booth there for a while, but like I just got weird. I got too fucked up there one time. I didn't want to go back. You know, I was like, I'm embarrassed, you know, and like weird shit like that. But as far as like getting straight, like I definitely needed help. You know what I mean? And like shit comes into life. The universe does its thing, you know, like for me, it was that fucking dude. that was the DP dude, man. Like,
Yep.
he just said it. I was ready. And I'll be honest, that's not my original date either from there. So like I ended up having a really big relapse after a couple of years. And like that was gnarly. That's another thing too, man. When you stop, like you kind of saw like you hadn't drinking like a year, right?
Yeah,
and
totally.
Then
Yeah.
a couple cocktails at the fucking the fucking airport, and you're fucking
That was it.
playing fucking the Hangover movie. You know?
Yeah, totally. Fucking tigers everywhere. But I find as well that I don't think you convince yourself, but yeah, you probably do convince yourself that you're like, I think I'll be okay. Like I've done a year, you know, and I think I'll be fine. I think I'm okay. I think I've bullshit. It's fucking
Can I
bullshit.
smoke on this thing?
Yeah, of course you can.
Okay, cool. Since we're talking shop, you know what I mean? The true non-recovered addict here. These motherfuckers get me all the time. But anyways, so let's see. So when I got sober, super gnarly, right? I went through the thing. I did the stuff. There's 12 of them. I fucking went for it, right?
Yeah, man.
No. The relapse, dude, was nuts. So like I hadn't done any like program stuff. I was just fucking, you know, on my own, white knuckle for 2.5 years, dude. 2.5 years. And all of a sudden my life started like on the outside, it looked good. Like I was kind of rocking business, but I was just consumed with resentments, fear, and fucking edgy. I was fun. I'm still me, but like I get wrapped up in fucking weird shit and like pissed off, and also I had no outlet for it because, you know, and I would say, I'm like, yeah, you get to go home and drink and whatever your day off. Like I gotta fucking white knuckle it. And then I just bitchy, dude.
Yeah, man.
And
I get jealous. I get jealous. I'm not a jealous dude. If you won the lottery, I am fucking happy for you. I'm not jealous. But if you go home and drink and you can like be that guy that just goes home and smokes weed and chills out or has a beer, I'm jealous of that. I'm like, why can't I relax like that?
Yeah,
that's what I'm
not for long.
Of. Yeah,
that will leave because you're going to see the success in your life and all the things just like blossom, especially if you know you work on some other stuff and clear up some of that baggage from the past and shit. Like that was the thing too that I got to do is. But it was when I relapsed, we have this big ride called Belden, and it's like a camp out thing. And I'm all excited for Belden, and classic Alex. 3 days before the Belden trip, I'd relapsed and fucking never came home. I was fucking getting hotel rooms and having walkers of the night and doing stuff, and I was trying to get them to get me some stuff that I really liked. They were like, I can't get that stuff, but I can get this stuff. And that was stuff that I didn't mess with, the fucking go fast shit. And so anyways, we did that, and I was doing it like I do other stuff, and I'm fucking riding my fucking chopper through the mountains of fucking California with like hadn't slept in fucking 4 days. I'm like fully hallucinating from this shit, but like also ripping, dude. Like not trying to make this sound like a good thing, but I don't think I ever rode better in my life. Like I could hit turns, and I was like, I haven't even slept. This is crazy.
That confidence.
I was like, I see why they give that shit to fighter pilots, dude. I was fucking on one, man. Dude. But then the hallucinations of the sirens that kept coming that weren't there because I'm a fear-driven person. So it was like I kept hearing like the cops. So I'm paranoid like so quick. And that was a weird thing because that was the only moment that was kind of fun. But after that, every time I try to keep drinking, by the way, I lost my relationship. I lost my house, everything. I was fucking back living in the shop, lost the dog, everything. Because I'm just fucking reckless abandonment. Dude, I fucking turd. I turd hard, you know?
Yeah, man.
Anyways, I remember just fucking trying to, I'd be like, I'm done drinking. And then I'd fucking drink again. And I do weird shit like around all my friends that drink like a bunch. And we'd like pull out beers. I'd take a beer into the bathroom and I'd fucking pound it, throw it down, walk out, crack another one like it was my first one. Like I was ashamed because everyone knew I was a sober guy too for a long time. So when I did drink, it was like, and it stopped working. Like it wasn't solving anything. I was still just as depressed and fucking miserable. And I like wanted to end it, dude. I was like, I don't want to live anymore. But I remembered the first time I had gotten straight and that dude told me to go to a place and go get straight. And I did feel really good when I went there. And I was like, I'm going to fucking go back to that shit. and go get right. And then that's my date from that point on. And I did that thing and I cleaned up my fucking past. You know what I mean? Like I had a lot of financial baggage, especially being in business and all the borrowing of fucking money to buy bikes or trade deals that went south, you know, and there's still some today that I'm still trying to fix, dude, that like, literally the past couple of days I've been trying to get a hold of somebody that was a bad deal from 10 years ago.
Oh, fuck.
I'm still trying to reach out like, hey, dude, like, can I want to cash you out? Like that shit went south and they won't talk to me still, you know, like, and that's part of it. I don't get to make right with every, you know, it's on
Is that
them.
part of the steps?
What?
Is that part of the steps?
It is. Yeah, dude. Yeah. We clear up the baggage of our past. And because if you don't, that shit is what's going to control every fucking decision you make. Because I'm like, I want to go do this thing, but I might see so-and-so, or I have fear about this because I don't trust myself. I fuck this up. And that you start realizing like that shit controls you. But when you do the steps and you fucking go through it, you get to clean all that shit up, and it makes you lighter, and you can, it's an all big perspective shift. And you don't realize how much shit you've done because we really tuck it back there, dude.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm happy for you on your journey.
Yeah, man. Well, I need to start it properly like that, like what you're saying. I need to I went to a meeting the other day, but it wasn't like that. You know, it was like I say, that the culture here is totally different, man. It's weird. Like when you say to someone here that you're fucking, you know, sober or whatever, they're like, oh, really? You know? It's not like a celebrated thing, you know?
Yeah. Well, I can't tell you how many times I've heard. I just was talking to someone about this the other day where they were like, I'll never trust a man I can't have a drink with.
Yeah, totally.
And I'm like, I don't know if that is really true. You know, like, if that's your barometer for like a good person, that's kind of sketchy.
Yeah, totally.
You know, like, I don't know how many deals I made fucking drunk with people that like, and here's another cool thing too. Like when you're not drinking, when I say like, hey, I want to do this thing tomorrow, like I'm probably going to show up to it.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
You know, like totally. I'm pretty sure they're not.
Yeah.
And they usually don't.
Yeah,
You know?
Definitely.
Like, what happened to you, dude? They're like, oh, dude. I'm like, and you're just sitting there fucking hungover and bummed. Fucking, I'll pass. And dude, like my business and my personal and professional life, since I made those decisions to stop doing that shit, has fucking skyrocketed, dude. Like to places I never knew that were fathomable. You know, just my relationship with my fiance and my family and friends, and you really get to start catering who you want to be around too, dude. You know what I mean? And like, and it's okay. Like dude, there's a saying too in the thing where it's like, I only go where I have business going. So like, if there's business in the bar, I'm gonna go to the bar. You know, I got business to be there. But if I don't have any business to be there, then I'm just not gonna go. And like, that's cool. And most people aren't gonna give a shit. You know, they're on their own fucking wavelength anyways. You know, they're not thinking about me. They don't give a shit.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, no, it's a good point.
So it's worth it, dude, for sure. Especially if you're business oriented. I don't think it's good for business, you know?
No, definitely. Well, you lose a week. Like I lose a week, you know, and that's just a one night. That's my whole my whole week is ruined, you know?
Oh, and then some. You're lucky it was only a week.
Yeah, totally.
We can ruin a decade, dude, real quick.
Yeah, man. Fuck yeah.
You know, that's just when we're that extreme. But now you turn that extreme behavior into your podcast or your fucking businesses and all that shit.
That's
like,
what you were saying the other day.
Dude.
Yeah, that's what, because it's like changing that part of your brain to and using it for something positive rather than the madness.
Yeah, well, we're obsessive, period. I'm either obsessing about a drink or I'm obsessing about a bike. And I'm like, I'll obsess about a bike and parts that I want to come up with. And I used to think too, like, I remember when I first got started, I'm like, well, how am I going to fucking, like, I used to always call it getting motivated. Like, let's go get motivated, dude. You know, like, I'm fucking tired. And I didn't think I could be creative without smoking a joint, you know?
Yeah.
Where my creativity is untethered. Like, It is just, it runs rampant. Like to the point where I'm like, I feel like a crazy person. Like idea. Like if you look at my phone and all the parts I want to come up with and all that shit.
Yeah.
My notes are fucking packed. They're insane, dude. Like I have a lifetime of shit already to go through, you know?
Yeah.
I would never do that musing because it's all fucking empty fucking promises. No goals get accomplished.
Yeah, totally.
For me, some people are normal, dude. They can drink and party and kill it. And I'm like, fuck. And yes, there are times that I'm like, I envy that. I'm like, fuck, I want to go rage with the boys and fucking get weird and be able to still do business. But for me, it's one or the other, dude.
Yeah, man.
You know?
Yeah. And you find that you're more creative without?
1,000 times more creative without.
Yeah, sick.
You have a fucking brain that's working.
Yeah, man. Yeah, totally.
You know?
That's a good segue into the parts thing. I think we should talk about these fucking hardtails.
I know. Dude, I can't believe they're just sitting there. It's so cool. Crispy, dude, you're my fucking you're my hero, dude. Yeah, dude. So the hardtails?
Appreciate it. Yeah, man.
Oh.
Yeah, so where did that come from? I know we've already spoke about it, but let's where did that come from?
For the people, man.
Yeah, man.
So, you know, one of the things is like because I do a lot of cone shovels. So that's like my bike. Dude, I love panheads. I have not gotten my hands on knuckleheads personally. I've gone to build some stuff for people and work on them, but I've never gone to acquire them. But so, you know, and generator shovels too. I've got my personal bike's a 66 that I'm building for the next year and stuff. But I really like cones and cone shovels, and they all need to get hardtailed. So like I'm either having to try to source those hardtails, which as we all know through the pandemic, dude, like the fucking supply chain got all screwed up and there was no hardtails. And I got lucky, met a dude at a swap meet and bought like, I think he had like 3 of them, dude. And that carried me for a second, and like nothing against V-twin, but the V-twin ones need massaging to get worked out, and I would modify them a bit. Like I'd seen on YouTube, some dude did a hardtail, and instead of taking the rails all the way up to the backbone, he cut behind the casting, and he would then cut the casting and he'd bend those tubes down and he would tie in like that. So you didn't have to redo the seat yoke. And I was like, that's dope. And then clearly a lot of people on the bottom side, they, you know, you tie in with the transmission mount and all that stuff, which is fine. And I've always had a jig and stuff, but I was like, I want to make them kind of quicker and easier. So I would cut that, and then I would come in behind the transmission and do some sleeves and kind of make it look like a casting still, because it's already a shovel head. It's not a pan head frame. So like, what's the point? So I kind of came with that. Then I was like, and also, you know, my patented, non-patented, patent pending sliding slug thing, where I come in behind the transmissions mount and all that stuff with the sleeve, make it look like a casting. That was kind of like how I did it, just kind of, to be completely honest, like kind of being lazy about it, you know, because I'm like, I just want to get in and out of the hardtail like pretty quick. And I still thought that looked cool. And to be completely honest, whenever hardtails are usually 1-inch tubing, and then your frame rails are 1.125 inch. So no matter what, they never line up good. You either have a weld or you got to shape something, and it always just kind of bothered me. So I was like, might as well just like make it look like a casting joint at the bottom. So anyways, once I started doing that, I was like, dude, I should make a hardtail, right? That like clearly is a little bit different than like the ones that are out there. And if I'm not doing the transmission mount, and I'm not going all the way up to the backbone and having to or replace the yoke, I'm like, I can make a pretty affordable hardtail that honestly installs pretty easy, because like I've done a ton of them, dude. And to me, that was the quickest way, as long as people, you know, would be cool with my idea at the bottom where you would have the casting still there for the transmission. And I think it would be like less scary for your average DIY dude, because like once you go into the transmission zone, which done correctly is easy when you got to redo it, but it's less cutting on the frame, less chance of something going wrong if you don't have a jig. So I came up with this one, and like I said, with my sliding slug, so you still get to slug the top rails, because usually the only way you can slug the top rails, if that was the way, is you'd have to do it piece by piece and do like a one-off hardtail, which is really the way that I would do it, because I'd buy axle plates and then make my own hardtail. But I was like, dude, I want to make this as a product, which I'm honestly really grateful that we did it as soon as we did in the process, because dude, that is a fucking really, really complicated part to manufacture. And I could see maybe why there's not a lot of people that do make them. And I got to put a shout out to CT Newman for his frame jig. So through my little selling of bikes, I was like, I'm going to get a CT Newman jig. And when I got that jig, dude, that changed everything too. Cause it's got all the fucking markings. So if you wanted to build a panhead frame, you could get every bit of it pretty much dialed because he's got it all marked out. So the geometry would be perfect. So I knew when I was doing that I was like, this thing is good. You can't fuck him up in that frame jig, dude. You know, you could do shitty welds and make it look like crap, but it's going to be in the right places.
Yeah, totally.
You know, so that jig honestly changed everything. And I knew when I was doing it that I was probably going to do hardtail kits. And we went for it. And that, which for me, financially with the new shop and doing that, we had gotten really lucky and we had given away a really expensive bike. And I lived off that for a month. And it's exactly how long it took. And I was like, we're not going to do anything but engineer this hardtail. And we used every single dollar that we'd had from that. Yep. And it took about 30 days. And boom, we had I think I made 6 of them in that. And we finally got to the point where I made the fixturing and the jigging. But it took a bunch of hardtails to get right. Because when you're bending tube, dude, and you're trying to get it where you can bend it the same all the time. And we're not a tubing bender shop. We figured it out, but dude, that's a fucking art form, man. You go half a degree off, shit don't line up. So it was every time we would get it right, we're like, this is it. We have, Sam's super good at capturing data and making drawings and fucking all this shit. And he would get in, I'm like, cool, we're good. I go to do another hardtail. Boom, not fucking right. I'm like, what the fuck? And it just, I don't know why. It took a lot of tries and we finally got it to where they're being the same every time. And luckily I had a bunch of bikes, so I was just hardtailing all my frames. Yeah. So I got if you look behind me, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5. All the projects are already hardtailed because I was practicing on all of them, dude. We got this crazy boneyard in the back too of just back halves of shovel heads, which I think one day when everybody wants to put them back to soft tails, I'll be fucking rich.
But the whole bending thing, people overlook that bend, because when guys are making bars, say they're making a fucking run of whatever bars, they'll soon after that post, they'll be like, oh, here's some bars that kind of, I can't think what they call them, but they're kind of fuck ups. They're okay and they'll work fine, but they're cheaper. They're cheaper because they're the not the prototypes, but you know what I'm saying. You see it often where they go just over or whatever, and they'll fucking work, but they're not bang on.
I just did a hardtail yesterday on one of my bikes because it had blue tape on it because it's one of our blams. I was like, this one bent weird, even out of the jig. It bong. And that's the thing too. Even though you have them in the jig, you weld them all up. You go to unpull it out and it goes bong, and you're like, what the fuck, dude? Why'd you move? I don't know. But luckily for us, those we keep for us because I can massage them into place and do them. I can't hand it to somebody. And there's a really hard bend in those hardtails where you got to make clearance for the chain on the left side. And I talked with your boy that's going to be doing some hardtails and stuff over there. And, he was cool. And yeah, it's really nerve wracking because I'm now starting to see them go on to bikes. And I'm like, feedback, please. You get
are you alive?
I don't know if you got a chance to look at it. I'm sure your boy will, but he's a pretty seasoned builder. So he could probably stab that hardtail on without any instructions. Yeah, man. Period. He sees it. It's this is how this goes. Easy. Yeah. But we did do a really detailed instruction on how to install with photos and the whole 9, which was really cool. And when I did it, I was like, I'm going to do that hardtail on the table without a jig, right? Because what a majority of dudes are going to be up against. And so now I'm just kind of waiting for people to kind of message back, praying to God that they're not dude, this thing's fucking not right. I'm I've done enough of them to be they're fucking good for me, So I would hope they're good for others. Your buddy, I'm nervous because I've seen what he's built, and I'm whew, okay. I'm ready for some feedback when he's ready.
Yeah, well, the best thing about Lloyd is he will give you feedback. He will, and he knows his shit. You know what I mean? And in a friendly way. He doesn't mind. He will tell you the truth, So it's.
Yeah.
I mean,
And dude, and it's
I can't think of anyone better than Lloyd for what you're wanting.
yeah, and this
Really.
will even go back to the sobriety thing. With that
Yeah.
has helped me be able to take constructive criticism because I'm kind of
Yes.
sensitive and to
Yeah.
get my feelers hurt, when people talk shit about something, I'm like, what the fuck, like it's not
Yeah.
my intent, but and that's the thing is just making sure that I'm not taking it in as like, oh, they're fucking talking shit. It's like, no, they're telling me what their
Helping.
experience was with something. And like, I
Yeah.
have to take it from a very like logical point and be like, okay, cool. Like, let's reassess. Let's fix that for them or whatever.
We are so alike. It's fucking scary. It's so scary. But anyway, just talking about the hardtails. I mean, I love one of the things that I love about these hardtails and like your kind of vision for it is making it easy for guys, that aren't fabricators or whatever to fit them because V twins and stuff, they're fucking hard to like. I get some people and they're like, oh well, I've looked on the website V twin and this price, that price. I'm like, yeah, but I don't know anybody that's just taken a V twin, welded it on, no problem. It's fucking. I don't know. Talk more about that. You come from.
Yeah. So like another thing too is like when you want to go the rails all the way up, like I said, V twin wants you to change that yoke, and then you got to like the prepping of the frame. There's a lot of cutting, a lot of trimming out of old stuff, and reshaping your stuff so that you can integrate the new hardtail. And like I said, there's some stuff like I'm a dealer with them, so I can't say too much, but there's some things that aren't going to line up that great, So, but whatever, they're aware of it, I'm sure. But like things don't line up, you got to massage them into place or modify your tranny mount or whatever. But like with ours, and that was the thing too. Like this is where like I'm not lazy because I'm a metal fabricator, and that takes a lot of patience. And even a bike builder, like dude, it takes a lot, and you've got to be like a fucking probably one of the most important things in my life. Like the bike building has been really cool because it's taught me how to like play chess. Because like when you build a bike, you can't like you got to think like steps ahead. Because if you don't, like, oh, I'm gonna make this bracket do this, and then you go to fucking put your oil tank in, and you're like, ah, it fucking hits the oil tank. So you really got to like, and that's like the same with the hardtail. So when I was doing the hardtail, the amount of thought that went into like trying to see like other scenarios that people could come up against, and like Sam was really good to have around because he's not a chopper dude or a bike guy, like we met through a different source and he has other skills for the business. And but he is a craftsman too. And like learning how to fabricate and shit. And he's a quick study. So learning all about the bike stuff, but it's really good to have him because he asks those questions that like, I think are super simple, right? Like I'm like, like duh, fucking, but having to really bring it back to a layman's point of view and not and try to see like what are these guys going to be up against, like what was I up against, and not only just how to do it, like the cost stuff. Like I was a broke builder forever, I fucking still am. So like and we're all impatient, like I want to get this thing going, and a hardtail holds up everybody, because like you cannot move forward without that fucking tail section on that bike. That's the bike you're building, right? So it's a big piece, dude. And like, and now,
and especially the best thing about yours, especially with like, if you want that original look, you know what I mean? The castings and stuff. Like I've had people asking like, oh, you can get a hardtail kit for so much cheaper than that. Why are you fucking around with them? It's like this piece here, like the fucking, just, if you want that look and you are like one of them precious builders. Yeah.
On the axle plates, I learned that the hard way, right? Like I was like, oh, there's so many cast ones. I knew I was going to do them, but I like designed because I was trying to budget. I was like, how can I get a rad hardtail for like $450, right? That was like, and so I came up with these laser cut plates that looked like panhead plates. And I made these had this idea for these machined slugs that go over and in the tube, so it's really solid, but it also has some dimension, which are our pancake axle plates, which you can see on our website if people want to go look at them. So I designed that axle plate first because I already knew I could go through John and get the cast ones, and I wanted to build this budget thing. But lo and behold, through the budgeting, once I was done, those plates, the the pancake plates. So I shouldn't talk shit on my own product, but
Yeah.
it wasn't much cheaper than the cast plates. Like,
Right, okay.
that I could sell them for. They were like, I needed to be like
Yeah.
$100 under a set of casted plates, and
Yeah.
I could only get to a certain point. So like the price range, like you're like, why don't I'll just go get cast ones for that price?
Yeah.
And then also the welding took 3 times longer because of all the slugs and shit. And if people are interested, they could see I have them on some bikes. They're really cool looking, but from my standpoint, I'm like, that hardtail takes way longer to make. And after getting all the shit machined and cut, I was like, fuck, the plates aren't even. So like right off the bat in manufacturing that, I saw I was on the wrong path. And everybody wants cast, period. They're like, if you provide them a cast one, they're going to take it fucking every time. Like, we've only sold a couple of the pancake ones, which like, I also love my little pancake, you know, pan hit flat plate. Thought it was fucking clever, kind of goofy, but like, I'm not fucking cool guy, so whatever. But so that was like part of the manufacturing. I was like, right off the bat, I'm like, cool, I just spent a bunch of money having all these plates made, and nobody wants them. I don't want to use them either. Like, I just posted a Paco frame that I hardtailed that was a soft tail. I think you saw the purple one. Those plates look really good on that bike because that bike doesn't have a cast neck. But if you have a cast neck, you should have cast plates. You know, but if you're doing like a real, you know, kind of a modern tubed frame that doesn't have any cast on it, then, which also, this is funny too, cast, I called them casted the whole time, and somebody corrected me at the swap meet. They're like, hey, you know that casted isn't a word. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, they're just cast. So I had to change all the verbiage on all the website shit and all that stuff. Like, whatever, dude. I built bikes, not a fucking history book. I don't know. Yeah, so that was a journey with that, a shovel head hardtail. And like a big thing too, it's like, if I'm going to build a hardtail that's going to be cheaper than other people's, I want to make sure that let me rephrase that. My dad told me never say cheap. Less expensive than the other ones on the market. There has to be a reason why it's less, right? And the reason why it's less is because it's less of a hardtail than the other ones. They go further, they go into the transmission, they have tranny mounts. Like, that's all time and money to make that hardtail. So I wanted to make it on the budget, and which means it mounts differently than others, which I will say full-heartedly, it mounts easier than any other one. Like, not even trying to sell it, whatever. Like, I've done enough. There's a lot less work to put this hardtail on, and it looks identical to anyone.
It's a fucking no-brainer for me.
Yeah, thank you.
It's easier to fit, and you can build a fucking period build on a budget. You know, well, you know, on a better budget.
It's always a better budget, dude.
Some of the fucking we don't need to go into it, but I mean, you can really fucking blow your nut just on a hardtail, you know? Yeah,
earlier I was gonna say, on the cheap bike, you know, there's an old saying. It's like, oh, the cheapest boat I ever got was free. People will get, and that was what was hard as a builder, commission builder, that like, yeah, I'd love to have it be that much. And really, as a commission builder, and every builder will say this, and I've seen it enough and heard it enough, you end up working for like $5 an hour, dude. Like, you might say you're $100 an hour, but you do not ever get it. Like, I should have been making 30 grand a month, dude. Like, for reals. I never did, ever. Still don't. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, the numbers don't line up. And, you know, then people are like, oh, it's a labor of love. And I'm like, yeah, but like, I don't have a real job. Like, this is my only income, you know, and I want to support a family and all that shit. And like, I mean, you're in the creative arts too. And not to mention, we're the first to get fucking dropped.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, because we're a luxury. You know? Yeah,
we're luxury,
and
dude.
You know what I've seen with a lot of bike builders as well? You have to be so careful not to fall into that trap where you have to continuously take on work because you need the money. So you need people to be paying up front and stuff. But then you end up with like this whole backlog of work that is near enough impossible to get caught up on. And that money's already spent on fucking bills. Like, I've seen it happen, you know, and it looks like a fucking tough industry, to be fair.
Super tough, especially because the guys that do it aren't business people. Like, I was not a business person. I'm trying to become one now. Once again, like, this falls back into the sobriety stuff and getting clean. Dude, I had bikes there, dude. These poor people, dude. I had to make huge amends to people. I had to give them money. I had to do all kinds of stuff to make it right because I fucking held their shit hostage, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't get my shit together. I'm fucking robbing Peter to pay Paul. Like I need the next deposit to get the fucking bike, like 5 bikes back to a point. And you're just playing this, dude. And like, that's people walking. I had a really, really cool shop in Sacramento. People like, dude, what a fucking dream. This place is amazing. And I'm like, fucking take it. You can have it, dude. And it wasn't for anybody's fault but my own. You called it. Like you get in that repetition where like you cannot catch up, and you're like banking on someone to walk through that fucking door to call you like, dude, I want to fucking build a bike. You're like, fucking fucking $2,500 gets us started, you know?
Yeah, man.
And like, oh, dude. And that was one of the beauties that were today. And you said like living the dream. Like I cannot believe, like, dude, it is super hard. Period. I get, you know. But at the end of the day, my clientele is so quick and easy, and that's what I always wanted was like, I want to sell you a product that like our exchange is super quick. I want to build the bikes with it. I want to build them because like, even though they say like, dude, I love your style, I want a bike just like that. Dude, the second you
can you do it like this,
bro? I thought we were gonna do it like that. That cost how much? Blah blah blah. And like, dude, when you've spent where you're like, say I make a fucking crazy motor mount, right? And dude, I've got 10 plus hours in this fucking thing. Dude, like, cause it happens. And it could be a motor mount, I swear to fucking God, too. Like super badass. And I'm like, God, I can't charge fucking $1,000 for a motor mount. They're gonna shit their fucking pants. So I'm like, cool, I'll do it at half rate. But even still, you're like $500. Oh, maybe I'll just charge like $250. Oh, dude. And then they're like, that's $250. And you're like, dude, your heart, your everything just sinks. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then they're like, I don't even like it. And you're like, oh, dude. God. So like, it was really bad. Dude, that's why I drank the way that but like, but it's hard, man. It's, man. And I'm sure you see that in the tattoo world too.
Yeah, totally. But Josh Allison was just saying on the last episode, he was just saying that like, he's got a bike there, and he's like, if I added up all the fucking man hours that I've put into it, because he creates all that fucking crazy mixed metal stuff, and he's like $150, $150 for the bike, and he's like that, you know, that's time and fucking, you know, like his hourly rate, and obviously the parts and stuff, and it's fucking crazy, man. Yeah, it's a knucklehead. So, and I mean, like he fucking polished everything, the motor, everything. You know, $150 just in fucking time and shit. It's crazy, and people don't take that into account.
No, and I used to get really mad at people, but like I can't. I used to be like, why don't you understand? Why can't you see what I'm going through? Not to mention too, like one of the biggest problems I had at the old shop was like I was a fucking destination, dude. Like people will just show up, and like, you know, I'd have 5 people show up in a day. Each one of them takes 30 minutes to an hour to deal with. I'm like, there's fucking 3 to 5 hours fucking gone. You know, and everyone's like, you never come out, you never do shit. And I'm like, motherfucker, I socialized fucking for 5 hours today. People, and like nobody called. They just fucking pop up and like, what's up, dude? And then there would be days I'd wake up and be like, today I ain't fucking doing it. Like I got work. I literally have deadlines. You know, I'm like, I got to get this shit done because I didn't just build bikes. I had a fab shop. So we repaired trailers. We also made like we made fucking, you know, we turned horse trailers into fucking bars for weddings. Fucking super rad stuff. And some of that shit, you can go way back into my Instagram and see it and stuff. But there was also shit, we repaired trailers. Like it wasn't cool at all. And I didn't share it. But that's what paid the bills. Rarely ever did. Which is like, why am I only doing bikes now? Is fucking insane. But I love it. I love it to death. I love building motorcycles, period. Like I can't do anything else. I've tried to leave this industry so many times. I really have, dude. And I remember one time I went to go get this job my buddy got. This was like a long time ago. It was for a window and door company. And it was like I was doing the fucking resume or whatever. And like all the places I've worked. And it was like, Widowmaker's choppers, 8-ball rods and choppers, and da-da-da. And the guy's like, are you fucking sure you want to work here, dude? Like, you've only been doing like choppers. And he also was like, that sounds like a rad job. But I was like, dude, I'm over it. Like, even the shops I worked for struggled to pay, you know, and like, you know, you're making $12 an hour or whatever. And it's a skilled trade. Like, that's what's crazy too. Like, you think about like the skilled tradesman. You can go be a lineman. You could make crazy fucking money. That's electrical dudes, you know, or a plumber. Fuck, plumbers kill it, dude.
Yeah.
And they're talented. Don't get me wrong, but like bike builders, dude, they're like when you like talk about the guy Josh, like holy fuck, dude, I like love his stuff and like fucking Sosa and like Ferris, dude, like oh my god, like I love what they do, but like I don't know if all of us are like doing that well sometimes financially, you know, like the labor of love, dude, like
totally,
because it's so time consuming and you just don't. It just doesn't pay you back. But here's the deal. I fucking love my job. I don't like, dude, I come to work when I want to come to work and I leave when I want to leave, which is usually around 12 hours a day, every day, you know, until like I've put too much strain at home because I'm not there, you know. But luckily I have a woman that like fucking wildly supports me in doing this. She fucking, you know, which that was the hardest thing forever. Just being able to get a chick that didn't want to fucking fight the shop, you know. And I was always like, dude, I wouldn't fight this motherfucker. It wins every time.
Totally. Yeah, man.
You know?
Yeah. I've just hung on to my one. You know, we've been together like fucking going on 14 years now. And man, she's that woman that everybody wants, you know, like that, you know, she supports everything I do and stuff. And I mean, man, she's put up with so much shit. Like, I can't even say that I've hung on to her. She's had to hold the fucking tightest reins, you know, over the last 14 years, just dealing with my shit. But you know, it's, I'm lucky.
Yeah. I mean, same here, dude. Yeah. Like I said, man, like, I know it could be hard for a woman, you know, where it's like, well, don't you care about me? Like the obsession is so gnarly.
Yeah.
And not to mention, like, I do want to provide for us and stuff. So like it takes so much extra time to fucking make enough money to make it worth it. And I don't want to go get a real job. Like I fucking can't, dude. Like,
yeah, totally.
I can't.
That's it.
Like, this has to fucking work, dude. Yeah. And like, I say it has to work, and like, dude, I haven't had a real job, and I kind of did some side shit, but like, the 23 years, dude. You know what I mean? I've pretty much been in this thing, you know. And when I say 23 years, it bums me out that I'm not further in where I want to be, like seeing what I see in the industry with some of these dudes. But like that all comes down to, once again, I wasn't sober for a long time. So I didn't put in the work in certain aspects that like I'm going to put in today. And once again, it took me 6 years to like, of being clean, to like really figure out like, where do I want to go in this? And like learning about like ideals from my life, and then being like, and you know, dude, like it's energy, man. If you fucking feed it, like it will grow. Seriously. It might take a second. Sometimes it might not work, but I've yet to see anybody that like put an earnest shot at like a dream and it like really shit the bed.
You usually break through that glass, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I listen to a lot of motivational stuff from successful people, which it would, if you saw the shit I watched, you'd be like, that's pretty douchey, dude. But
man, I need to listen to that shit. Otherwise I don't get out of bed.
Yeah. And like, even though some of these guys are like pretty clean and they're not in my industry, but like they have a lot of experience, and I like to watch those. I like a lot of the podcasts I watch too, and kind of seeing like, how do they navigate this stuff, you know? And something it's cool, and especially in podcasts, like we got pretty real in sobriety stuff. Like these dudes get real about like their fucking failures and like shit that didn't work and emotions. And you're like, because we're human beings, dude. Like some people can fucking hide that shit from the world. Like I am super open book. I'm up front. Like if I'm fucking not stoked, like you're gonna know. Like I can't fake it too well, you know? But you know, and there's like these sayings like fail forward and this and that. And like I've tried a couple things. We even had like a dumpster business when we moved up here. We like I fucking took out these loans to get these fucking dumpsters for fucking a dump company. I'm like Mr. Entrepreneur, and I'm like, I'll do it all on loans. Yeah, this will be great.
Yeah.
You know, and
because that's what they tell you to do. That's what they tell you to do. Don't use your own money. Use the bank's money. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I'm fucked.
Totally. They're sitting on 500 million though.
Yeah. And I didn't do the math. When we did the math, we finally started doing it. Like, why isn't mathing right? we started looking at it, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, dude, like if I'd have known what I knew in the beginning, I could have been like, oh, this can only make X dollars if you have one truck and 2 dumpsters. Like, but I did it. It has not worked. And I got to learn to be like, dude, you got to like build a business plan. You got to fucking try to see some stuff, you know? Same with, dude, if I'd have known, like straight up, dude, like my nut for this thing is fucking ridiculous. It blows my mind. Had I known before I got this shop and I rent the shop and bring on a fucking dude and try to make parts and all that stuff, had I done the math, I would have never fucking done it. So in that case, it worked out because ignorance was bliss. And I'm happy that I didn't know, because I would have fucking pussed out. I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
Now I'm locked and loaded.
I kind of like to approach things that way. You know, I've got a lot of failures under my belt, and just from like being an entrepreneur and trying to like get out of tattooing at various stages. But yeah, like you say, if I'd have sat down and worked it out, I never would have fucking tried it. So, and I mean, some of them are hilarious stories, so I'm glad I did. But yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. I've always been like a jump first before kind of checking how deep the water is, you know.
That's why you're trying to get sober.
Yeah, totally. 100%. Totally.
No, we are absolutely cut from a certain fucking shit-ridden piece of cloth. You know what I mean? Man. Like,
yeah.
But I'll tell you, I'm around a lot of like sober dudes that have got decades of sobriety and all that shit, and they are the most successful people I know. Like, they turned all that into that thing, and they fucking rock and roll. And I get to, and like they're my gauges, dude. And I used to fucking think all the dudes at the bars and the ragers were like, I'm like, oh, they're so rad, like they're getting laid and whatever, and just. Dude, it's just not the place, man. I know. I hope people that are listening to this or whatever, just like if anybody's struggling with that shit, man, dude, do everything you can to try to get away. You can't handle that world, man. Don't keep doing it, man. Like there's a lot of life to be lived, dude. And we don't know if we get more of these. You know, it could be the only one, man. I'm not 100%. That's why I did the shop. I was like, I had this inspiration. I'm like, dude, like I'm still in my 30s. Like, this is the time. Like, I really want to go for it. And I was fucking hella scared. Like, I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to try to make a brand and make parts. And you have no idea if anybody is going to fucking back you, dude. Like, are they really going to want my shit? And then all of a sudden, like, they start selling. Like, the amount of hardtails we sold is fucking, it blows my mind. I cannot believe people want them. Hopefully they're what they expect when they get them, you know? Like I said, we're still waiting for feedback and all that shit. So, anybody's watching this and you got a hardtail, tell me about it. A dude just sent me one today. I think I posted it where he mounted it, and which means he was stoked. He posted, he's like, it's on, he's all pumped. I'm like, okay, cool. There's the first one that I've seen, you know, out of and I say we've sold a lot. Like, I think we maybe sold 20, right? But like,
but that is a lot.
Pretty big fucking deal.
You're making them. Yeah, totally. That is definitely.
Yeah. I mean, that was what I was looking for. I'm like, I want to have a life of experiences, you know, and get to see the challenges of doing this stuff. In the moment, sometimes I'm like, you bit off way more than you could chew. What the fuck were you thinking, dude? Like, you should have stayed at home. You probably could have made a fucking $100,000 sitting at home with what I was doing. Like, seriously, dude, I fucking did. Like, it happened. It's all gone. You know, like, we're penny pinching every fucking time. I'm like, fucking, let's do another giveaway. Fuck, dude. You know, like, make it through. And like, now I'm done with them. Like, I don't want to fucking keep doing those things. I want to just build an honest product, do fucking rad bikes, and hopefully something to come of it. And like, here I am on a podcast with you, which is fucking phenomenal. Like, thank you for taking notice and giving me this opportunity to like share some of my fucking story, you know, which is a fucking journey. Sorry.
Thank you for coming on. Seriously. I really appreciate it. Seriously. And I'm so glad that we're working together as well. I think that's going to be something pretty special, you know. So where can everyone find you if they want to buy parts, if they want to follow you, if they want to buy a bike? What's the best way to find you?
Yeah. So the best way, and I'm super communicative on there too. So you can DM me, message me, whatever. That's @_crispy.co_, and that's our Instagram. We also have where we sell all of our used parts, which is crispy_parts. And that's on Instagram as well. We get all our used parts put up on there.
That's
and
crispy
then,
with a K.
Crispy with a K. Thank you.
Yep.
And then we've got crispychoppers.com. And that's where you can see all of our new product and stuff like that on there.
Sick. Perfect, man. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you very much for your hard work. I'll send some swag. We've got some super dope stuff coming up, dude. So
yeah, sick.
We'll make sure we got your size and
serious,
dude.
Man. Thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate that.
Dude,
was really fun.
Thank you, man. And
yeah, I'll probably speak to you in the morning. We speak most
honestly
days, so.
We'll keep talking. All right.
Right,
hey,
dude.
Thanks again.
Thank
It's
you,
been
mate.
a pleasure, and I'm super grateful for you, dude. Thanks for doing what you do.
Cheers, man. You too. Cheers, dude.
Later, bud. Bye.
See you, buddy. Thank you so much for tuning in. I had such a good time with my good friend Alex from Crispy Co there. Please make sure you like and subscribe. Follow us on social media. Ride Choppers or Die. Follow Crispy Co on social media too. Thank you so much for tuning in. I have no idea what the TV is doing behind me. I appreciate you. Ride Choppers or fucking Die.